Pressure continues to rise in season 21 of the Isuzu UTE League as the Newcastle Jets hunt to first Premier's plate. With just 2 matches to go in the regular season, 3 points above Auckland FC. They could put one hand on silverware tonight, but Melbourne Victory on their home turf are hunting a home final. They are equally as desperate for all 3 points. Great to have your company here on Wurundjeri Woiwurrung country in Melbourne. Melbourne Victory and the Newcastle Jets absolutely deadlocked. These two sides who met in the 2018 Grand Final in Newcastle. But it's Melbourne Victory who dominate the head-to-head record here at Amy Park. The Jets have won just 5 times in 18 previous matches against Melbourne Victory, and only 9 times total the Newcastle Jets have won here at Amy Park. So as both sides line up on the Isuzu UTE tunnel camp, Melbourne Victory looking to lock down a home final, while for the Jets, well, it's not often you get to achieve something or have a shot at achieving something historic, and their time is now. Not one member of their squad has ever won an A-League premiership, a trophy that has eluded Newcastle. So there should be no surprises when history reaches touching distance that the nerves would jangle, and they have for the Jets. Just 1 win in their last 4 matches, and now with 2 matches to play, the stakes are high, the margins razor thin. Victory know what it's like to be heartbroken last season, defeated in the grand final this year, and tonight they can inflict some kind of pain on the Jets. So Victory, a win tonight secures, or all but secures them a home final. For the Jets, the premiership is nearly theirs with a win tonight, but anything less and all those dreams could well go up in smoke.
And the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid.
Victory make just the 1 change after their 2-2 draw with Auckland. Seb Esposito returns from a concussion layoff. His inclusion pushes Jason Davidson to left back, so Franco Lino moves to the left wing. Nishan Volupale will play centrally, and Matt Grimaldi makes way. How often do we see Nishan Volupale's form going to another level when he comes off the back of a Socceroos camp? 2 goals in his last 3, a crucial one last week in the second half against Auckland. Could he prove a point of difference tonight? 3 changes for the Jets after their draw with Adelaide United. Will Dobson misses with concussion, so Zach Clough makes his first A-League start for Newcastle. Lockie Rose earns a promotion back to the 11 for the first time this month, while in a huge boost, Eli Adams is also back into the starting side after a quad strain has restricted him to the bench in recent weeks, so Xavier Bertoncello drops to the pine. So what a welcome return for Lockie Rose tonight. His last start in that final match before the international break in March. That win over Sydney FC in the dying stages. What an important night it is for him. Arthur Dillis, the Jets assistant coach from 2021 to 2023 under Arthur Pappas. Humbled at the hands of the Jets back in October 5-2. He'll be keen on some revenge. While Mark Milligan, he won the Joe Marsden Medal on this ground back in 2015 as he captained Melbourne Victory to a 3-0 win over Sydney. It's one of the great A-League Grand Final performances by an individual. The 2-time A-League Men Referee of the Year, Alex King, in charge of this one. Kearney Robinson and Andrew Memorakis, the assistants. Jonathan Barrero, the 4th official. Adam Kersey and Emma Kobek in the VAR centre. Well, the countdown is almost over. It's been a tense few weeks in the Isuzu UTE League, especially for the sides jostling for places inside the top 6 and also for silverware. Newcastle can take a huge stride towards history with a win tonight. Melbourne victory can upset the party. So the Jets within touching distance of a first Premier's plate. But what have Melbourne victory got to say about that as they hunt a spot inside the top 4 and a home final? And Andy Harper, these are the nights of A-League action we love, full of tension and the potential tonight for Newcastle to move a step closer to an historic achievement.
Ben, good evening. Huge night, huge couple of weekends. And these are the nights that get fans going, and for Newcastle faithful, these nights have been all too rare. The anticipation all too rare. And the hope, the expectation, the belief that the glory is just around the corner. That sensation all too rare. But it's coalescing around this young Jets team as they take on this very difficult away trip tonight. Melbourne victory with their own championship aspirations still very much in play. But a huge couple of weeks to round out the home and away part of the A-League competition with the Jets in pole position.
Well, the long sleeves are on, the puffer jackets are out. That means the A-League finals are just around the corner. Perfect night for football. And Newcastle, whose record at Amy Park isn't outstanding when you look historically, but they're undefeated in their last 5 matches in Melbourne across all competitions. That includes that Australia Cup run. They beat Avondale and Heidelberg. Win over Melbourne City here earlier this season. And a draw with victory at the end of last season, and a win over Melbourne City, where they were battered by City, and Lockie Rose came up with a match winner on what was a famous win for Newcastle against the eventual champions. Here's Bayliss and Clayton Taylor towards Wilmering.
Well, a couple of nervous moments at either end of the field. James Delanov with his first release in possession. There's an under-hit pass. Some nervous moments for Newcastle, and then other end of the field. Melbourne victory's first opportunity to defend their penalty area. So a little bit of a hairy moment. And a good press from Newcastle, who are ready and poised.
Well, there's only 2 differences between this Newcastle lineup and the one where we saw remain unchanged. It's Taylor with the cross through that middle portion of the season. It's Clough in for Dobson, and Grozos coming in and centre back for Shaughnessy. Outside of that, it's very similar looking side, and the big inclusions for Newcastle over the last couple of weeks: Clayton Taylor back from a hamstring injury, and Eli Adams returning from that quad complaint. Those two so critical on each edge for Mark Milligan this season.
And then, of course, you would add Clough to that. He's a player who's taken a while to get into the team because of injury, but he showed real quality. The first 2 you mentioned have built a good CV over the season, and their return excites the Jets fans. And then the inclusion of Clough as another variable to this really well-oiled attack is more on promise as much as real expectation for the Newcastle fans. And certainly something different, a great addition in this run-in.
He suffered heartbreak at this venue before. He was playing for Adelaide, knocked out by Melbourne City in the final series. One match away from a grand final. They went down in extra time in that second leg. We talk about the narrative regarding Newcastle, but for Melbourne Victory, it's been a season which has gone in spits and spurts. They've had performances like that against Auckland last week. They show just how dangerous they can be, but defeats like the one the week before against Wellington, that's where they sit on the table to resemble a season which has been inconsistent. 5th place on the ladder with 10 wins from 24 matches. They had a slow start to the season, and despite Newcastle's big win over Victory back in October, they too had a slow start as Adams and Rose putting some real pressure on Wisharsky here, and this will be a free kick for the Jets. So there's a nervy moment early on for the 21-year-old Victory gloveman.
Well, it's sloppy from Victory. They really needed to be aware that as this ball goes over the top, and Newcastle put this pressure on, that there's going to be a second wave of Jets players. It's how they've attacked all season, and Clough hasn't taken long to get in tune with his teammates, and Valadon caught on the hop. It needed to be anticipated better by Melbourne Victory then. Wisharsky's clearance as well as could be expected from him, but an inadequate level of anticipation from players in front of him, and now puts this chance on for Newcastle.
So what is interesting is that Eli Adams is not part of this conversation. He's out wide right, and that's probably why. So we're going to try and look to utilise him, but the free kick just a little too heavy.
Well, it's a nice variation. Again, if you're Victory, maybe you're looking at that and thinking, well, if Eli's not lining up, because he's hit a couple of thunderbolts this year, if he's not lining up, then is he just for decoy value out on the right there? The answer, as we saw roll out, was no. And that pass just being a little overhit. Adams might have really hurt them.
Miranda wants to pop it over the top for the run of Jelassic. Keegan Jelassic scored in that defeat for Victory in Newcastle back in October. So too did Denny Genre. It was an absolute goal fest. Alex Battalato with a hat-trick. Oscar Fryer also a goal scorer, as this cross is a dangerous one in front of Lino, who's been pushed further forward tonight thanks to his impressive performances.
Yeah, dangerous cross. Pretty coolly done by Bertolicio at the end of that. Not even the mop of Matta's head could get to that header.
It is a challenge for the Jets, that height disparity, especially with Shaughnessy out of the team. Look at that, Miranda towering over Natta and Duca as well. Big chance here for Victory, and Delianov has to push it away at the near post. Attempting to turn. Victory fans wanted the whistle. Wasn't forthcoming. Now Burgess. Thanks with Bertolicio. What a find he's been for Newcastle this season. After debuting with MacArthur back a few years ago, but just 3 appearances for the Bulls. He's been a regular since replacing Tom Aquilina at right back. Aquilina has had an injury-ravaged season. And this young man, Franco Lino, goal scorer last week, keeps his spot in the team even with Davidson moving into that left back role as Duka scoops it up in front of Jelassic. Rawlins turns down the chorus from Victory fans urging him to shoot. Esposito with the up and under, and Natta first to the falling ball. Clinton Taylor has the free kick. Taylor, who scored his first 2 A-League goals at this venue in 2023 in a 5-3 win for Victory that night. A season which resulted in 7 goals. His first 2 A-League seasons before netting 8 this time around to have 22 all told in the A-League for the Jets, which is the equal 3rd most with Demi Petratos. Only Roy O'Donovan and Joel Griffiths sit ahead of Clayton Taylor in the goal-scoring ranks for Newcastle. Just didn't cushion it enough. Falupala peeling wide of Grozos. Space in the middle here. Bertolicio up against Lino. Did well in that situation. And Eli Adams, well, it's smart play from the former Victory man. Didn't look like a whole lot in it.
Well, the Max Burgess turnover was a rare thing. He's been excellent this season. Bertolicio with the header clear. At first inspection, it didn't seem as though Alex King was going to blow the whistle. And then for some reason decided that that was enough contact from Jason Davidson. I'm not 100% convinced.
Well, that was more of a free kick. that was more of a free kick than the Eli Adams one for Clough. Goes the way of Melbourne Victory. It's funny how things pan out. Interestingly, Melbourne Victory's last win over Newcastle was back in that October 2023 match I referenced, where Clayton Taylor scored a double. 4 matches without a win against Newcastle for Victory. It's as long a spell as it's been for some time. Here's a free kick earned by Valupale.
Burgess erring, but it was the error from Grozos which opened the opportunity. 10th start to this match. Of the 2 goals, probably it's Newcastle's that's been under a little more scrutiny in the opening 13 minutes.
It's got that kind of feel about it tonight at Amy Park. Tense moments. Jelassic to the back post. Rose Davidson. Very comfortable for Delianov. He's played every minute for Newcastle this season. Lovely pass. And Eli out for the outside of the boot, looking for Rose. And Wachowski had to cover his near post there. It was as if a whole bunch of Victory defenders just stood and watched.
Well, I'm not sure if Jack Wachowski knew much about that. Wonderful from Eli Adams. He's looking prime tonight, the former Victory man, on his return to the starting 11 for Newcastle. It was a lovely ball over. Lucky Rose arrived just in time.
A man that didn't get much opportunity when he was at Victory. Just 15 appearances and 1 goal over 2 seasons in the A-League. Valupale. Oh, space here. Jelassic doesn't need a second invitation. And it was Max Burgess who snatched it off his toes. This is more free-flowing from the Jets. We haven't seen much of it to start this match. Melbourne victory across, though, to stymie them. And Genre, well, Adams has come from nowhere. That is a rush of blood in a big way.
He's flying tonight, Eli Adams. And unfortunately, when he had the foot on the pedal, he'd taken his hands off the steering wheel and just crashed into Denny Genre. Beautiful ball up the line. Bertoliccio's done some nice things tonight. Lovely this from Eli Adams as well. It's a peach, actually. And unfortunately, for the sake of that pass, Lockie Rose couldn't navigate the goalkeeper. Otherwise, we'd have been talking about something really special. Lovely from Eli Adams.
Valupolo, 2 goals in his last 3. Maybe an assist tonight. Well, maybe just came a little too quickly for Jelassic. And Melbourne victory have started this match well.
Too quickly for Jelassic, or maybe a breakdown of communication, or maybe he wasn't listening, but this had to be Rawlins on the volley. And it's an escape for Newcastle.
Under some serious pressure. Melbourne victory squeezing the Jets. Milligan, hands in the air. Davidson and Valupolo keeps it moving through Miranda. Wants to change to the other side. Jelassic cuts it back. Can he find a teammate? Not quite. It spills to Genre. He goes low, and Burgess finds Clough, and Newcastle away for the moment. Miranda, terrific tackle. It was textbook from the defender. Valadon! The only outfield player from Melbourne victory in the squad tonight who hasn't scored in the A-League. And he forces a save out of Delianov there.
That's great stuff from victory. Delianov maybe a little unsighted, didn't look completely comfortable, but it was effective nonetheless in the end as he saw that one away.
Lino down towards the byline. Does he earn a corner? No, he won't. But nervy moments for the Jets, considering.
He just swerved as well. Nice hit from Jordi Valadon. Everything intact from a Newcastle viewpoint. We'll continue to try and play their way. They've got through a couple of times on that basis. Victory have pinched the ball in midfield on another couple of occasions.
Well, this is when that ability to believe becomes even more so important in the style of play. Adams, oh, it's Eli, the former victory man, who's back in the starting side, who's opening the scoring on a significant night for the Jets.
Well, on that almost moment when the pass out from Newcastle was almost intercepted by Victory on the Harvey Norman replay, then it's Max Burgess, great vision, threads the ball beautifully. Lockie Rose is the decoy, and he looked like it from kickoff. Eli Adams, he had the sniff of something tonight. He had the hunger. He's been given the opportunity, and now he's put the Victory back on their heels. Again, the ball moving in the air. Wachowski uncertain and couldn't get enough on it. And Eli Adams returns to the team, returns to the ground that used to be his home, and gives Newcastle a vital lead.
And he says to Melbourne Victory, you never gave me a chance. Just 15 appearances over 2 seasons. Well, what a year he's having. Again with Newcastle. 6 for the season to go with 9 last year.
Well, he flew out of the blocks tonight. Full of desire. He's got his reward. It's not come from nothing. Certainly helped by that lovely pass from Max Burgess. What a season he's having. And of all the things that Mark Milligan has done that has so impressed as the rookie coach in senior football, redeploying Max Burgess to a deep-lying midfielder has been one of the masterstrokes. He's been superb.
I reckon the other aspect to go with that, Hubs, is just it was obvious with a player of his age coming into this very young side that he was going to be a leader, but I think Burgess as a leader has taken his game to another level as well.
Yeah, well, the leadership has come with the redeployment. It's changed his game. All the skill set that Max has shown over the years, it's taken Milligan to say, hang on a minute, let's cut and paste this one. It's just been brilliant. And Max has responded to the opportunity, and I think the leadership has come from that. He can't afford to be a peripheral figure in this formation with that role. And I guess if there's been any criticism at all of Max Burgess over the years, is that tendency to drift out of games. Can't afford to do that when you're in the middle of the whole thing. And he's just been excellent.
So Newcastle first to score for the first time in a couple of matches. And here they come again. Clayton Taylor, do they smell blood in the water? Rose with a chance. Lino with the clearance. Well, Newcastle know if they can rack up a few goals, it could all but secure the Premier's plate tonight, because goal difference is so crucial in this battle with Auckland. The Jets are plus 13 at the moment, as we see this chance for Rose blocked by Miranda. Auckland plus 14. So on the live ladder, the Jets would sit 6 points ahead of the Black Knights, but with a goal difference advantage, that would be hugely significant. Valupale, though, looking to respond, and Delianov, I don't believe he's got a touch. I think it's just hit the crossbar.
Well, beautiful from Ishan Valupale. He's had his injury concerns this year. And a sweeping move through the centre of the field. Valupale making really good contact, rattling the crossbar.
Well, there are the trophies of Melbourne Victory. You can see the Premier's plate. They've got a few of those. Newcastle have never won it. They sit 6 points clear on the live ladder. Remembering Auckland playing against the Mariners and Sydney to finish the season. Newcastle have got the Mariners next week in the F3 derby.
Bertolicio taking matters into his own hands. The referee, rightly in my view, awards the free kick, and I'm not sure if a yellow card has come with that, but I suspect it probably should.
So set piece. Jean Rowe. Jelassic. That's his header away. As far as Valupale, Rose did enough to thwart him. And now Taylor should earn a free kick, and Is there a further punishment? There is. Miranda into the book. Newcastle, they won't waste a moment though. It's important to note as well that first goal so crucial. And the Jets have scored first 81% of the time they've won this season. And for Melbourne victory, when they've conceded first, they've won just twice out of 10 matches, so a 20% winning record. And it's been a stumbling block for Newcastle over those last 4 matches, where they've only won 1. They conceded the first goal in 3 of those. And the only time they did score first, they won, and that was against Sydney. Rawlins, the loop play in that central role tonight. He's been heavily involved for Melbourne victory tonight. One matter, of course, usually in that position, centre of the field, in midfield, but expected to be back by finals with that fractured elbow he's recovering from. And Duca. Lino. Lino turns it to Jordi Valadon, and this is going to be the challenge for victory. Without Mata and without a real proven goal scorer this season, Virgos, their leading scorer with 6. How do they unpick the Jets, especially with the Jets' ability on the counter here? Taylor squeezes it to Rose. Flag comes up.
Well, again, on the counter-attack, excellent. The hesitation to shoot. Really tight, this, actually. That left knee's probably broken the line. Esposito looks, and he's pretty confident that it's offside. And it was a bit closer, I think, than perhaps the first instincts of watchers. And in hindsight, maybe Clayton Taylor shoots from the edge of the box, but he's scored plenty from that range. It was a good run from him. Newcastle again on the counter-attack, open up the field, and the running power of this Jets team is really something that opponents have to try and contain. 1 for 1, you've got to be able and be prepared to run with your immediate opponent, and secondly, you've got to make sure you're closing off that space, not enabling this Jets at full throttle on the counter-attack to tear you up.
Lovely touch. Bayliss. And Adams, down he goes. The pocket of Jets fans are up and about, but Alex King never looked interested.
It's a good travelling contingent. Just on his wrong side. Eli Adams there. There's no question that Roddy Miranda gave him a little bit of assistance. Do with his assistance at the moment, just to add that extra little bit of quality. Juan Mata, fantastic season. And I think everyone can't wait for him to get back on the field, and making great progress with that elbow fracture by the sounds of things.
13 assists for the season for Juan Mata, Spanish maestro. So he did say to the boys pre-game that potentially next week, definitely finals. Victory. You've got Western Sydney Wanderers at Combank Stadium to round out the season.
Well, we talk about what the win does for Newcastle, what the loss does for victory. Not that they're looking like a losing proposition at the moment. They're playing well. But as things stand, their position in the top 6 could become very precarious.
Here's a strike from Jean Rowe. Had to be beaten away by Delianov. Well, those are the margins that exist in this season of the A-League. And that race for the top 6. They don't want to be pulled back into that fight with MacArthur. They play Adelaide this weekend. Ooh. There is a deflected strike. That'll be a corner for Victory.
Well, it's not just MacArthur before we get onto this corner, as Wellington are lurking also. You've got the Wanderers. That's the shot from Genro again, moving in the air. Jabulani-like here tonight at Amy Park. Projecting us all back to the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa.
Yeah, didn't Diego Forlani? He got that Jabulani to move a bit, didn't he? That's bringing back some memories. Here's the cross up towards Miranda. And now Valadon scoops it over the top. Lovely ball. And there's the equaliser. They have unpicked the Jets. And it's their mid-season recruit, Charles Nduka, with his 4th.
Well, maybe it's too early to call this, but this has got the hallmarks of a shootout. Victory have been playing really well. Newcastle looking dangerous as per Harvey Norman replay. It looks like Newcastle have seen away the trouble. It's a beautiful ball over the top from Valadon. And it's lovely execution thereafter. It's great football. Lovely touch from Rawlins. And Nduka can hardly miss from there. Beautiful. Beautiful from Melbourne Victory to get things back square here at Amy Park.
Well, he has found goals since arriving at the club. Made his debut in February. He's got 4 in 11 now in the A-League. He's the Japanese recruit from Kagoshima United. In the J2 and J3 league he's been playing. Newcastle now have to start thinking about how they can get themselves back in front in this race for the Premier's Plate. Remembering a draw, a defeat ends that ascendancy over to the Black Knights. Draw would keep them 4 points in front. And of course, Titans ever so greatly. Esposito, closed off by Taylor. So you just wanted this period before half-time. This is where momentum swings can be so crucial in matches. A Melbourne Victory with that equaliser. They've got the energy in the stadium. Newcastle slightly deflated. And they profit from it. Lino. Early ball. Oh, what a turnaround. Nduka, 2 in a matter of minutes. And Victory from a goal down, lead 2-1.
Well, it's direct and it's thrilling from Melbourne Victory. Jets up high, a lot of space. And on the Harvey Norman replay, Lino does beautifully, first time ball, and that's a peach. On the stretch, at pace. around the defenders, right on the money for the money man tonight. Charles Nduka. Incredible turnaround here in what is shaping up as a half-decent game of football. Brilliant again from Melbourne Victory.
So a first A-League double for Charles Nduka. And 2 goals in 3 minutes. And Melbourne Victory lead 2-1. And now it's Bayliss. And it's Rose who just slips at the key moment. My goodness. This is some spectacle.
Fantastic incursion from Bayliss. Just beating one, sucking in another 2. It's great space. I wondered if this might be shaping up as a shootout. It's a bit too early to confirm that, although if Lockie Rose scores that one, I reckon we've crossed the threshold. 35 minutes in, 3 goals. Great movement. Pulsating night here in Melbourne.
Important to note as well, Lockie Rose, he's playing with a heavy heart tonight. Coming back into the starting team, his grandfather has recently passed away, and that's why the Jets are wearing those black armbands. So all our thoughts with Lockie and his family during this really difficult time. So extra significance for Rose and his Jets tonight as this flag goes up against Victory. And when they're hot, they are hot. Melbourne Victory, they've shown it this season. How often have we seen it? They can go on a run, score a bunch of goals in quick succession, but they can also go through barren spells as well, but certainly not the case here tonight. Nduka looking to turn provider. Lupale. And he is frustrated with no whistle. Newcastle allowed to try and counter. Bayliss linking with Taylor. Taking on Esposito, who concedes the corner.
There's a little straightforward that from Clayton Taylor. There's a certain amount of shirt in the hand of Clough there. I'd be asking the question, were I Nishan Lupale as well? But ref said no. Bayliss again, dynamic through midfield. And just the automation of the movement. As soon as Bayliss got the ball, pumped it for a couple of yards and then sprung it wide. Taylor might have done better. 1v1 there, actually. Corner, the outcome.
And the change-up didn't work on the first attempt or the second. And I want to wipe that one. Hang on a second. What's happened here? Is this off the ball as Adams just left something in here? And Arthur Dillis knows that Adams is on a yellow card. And he's got to be careful here, Eli.
Jeez, there's next to nothing in that. Seriously. Thinking time for Milligan. Greymat has been very productive this year on behalf of the people from Newcastle and surrounding region. So close they are. The door, as things stand, ajar for Auckland.
And you would think Auckland won't let another invitation slip them by. Had a few granted in recent weeks. Haven't been able to take advantage fully. Play the Mariners on Sunday, a Mariners side whose finals hopes have basically gone up in smoke. So how much the Mariners became keen to help out the Jets, you would think, in that quest before they meet next Saturday. Here is Davidson. Lino through the legs of Bertolicio, and a corner coming here for victory.
Just rocking a little bit down the right-hand side defensively. Bertolicio, who's been excellent. He's been exposed a couple of times, balls in behind. He's been caught in two minds on one or two occasions, perhaps in his defence, conflicting bits of information from supporting players around him. Different people with a different perspective, seeing different problems to solve, and on a couple of occasions Giles looked like he's been pulled in different areas and his concentration has been disrupted. Not a major correction required, but Victory in this form have gone down that side on a couple of occasions.
Jason Davidson down, not a scorer of a lot of goals, but a scorer of a big goal for Melbourne Victory in the Australia Cup final 5 years ago. Doesn't get the opportunity from that set piece. Scrapping for it. Bertolicio's left a bit here on John Rowe. Is there anything further? Milligan frustrated. It's getting that way here for Newcastle in the minutes before half-time. So Newcastle, not often you see them leading the foul count. Shawski. And Natta. Bayless, lovely touch. This is Wilmering. He's been more of a peripheral figure to start this match. Daniel Wilmering now looking to get himself involved. The man with the most assists for the Jets. Scored the equaliser last week against Adelaide. It's Bayless. Burgess. Bertolicio returns it to Burgess. Adams on the turn. Shifts it across to Clough. It's an examination of Melbourne Victory's defensive structure, and they pass that with flying colours. The press is coming, and the press is illegal. According to Alex King, too much there from Grozos.
Did he forget to blow the whistle in the first place? Alex King. It's a decent hip and shoulder, this, from Grozos.
And Duca. He's been the man for Victory in this first half, a double within 3 minutes. John Rowe so close to finding that pass centrally, and down goes Valupale. Burgess is the latest into the book. The frustration continues to build here for the Jets.
Well, there's great pressure by Melbourne Victory. Valupale not just winning the free kick, but hitting the card. Really, when there mightn't have been one, just made a little bit more of that. Valupale, very cunning play. Jets have got a couple of people now in yellow card peril.
You just wonder, are they on tilt a bit here, Newcastle?
Just look at the clock. It's nearly half time. I can't believe it. It's been a fantastic first half. Fantastic first half. Can Victory kick clear here?
John Rowe goes direct. Oh, that would have been something special from Denny John Rowe.
Oh, the back half of his season's been excellent, Jean Rowe. And the slip didn't put him off. It may have actually helped him. Spectacular near thing.
Fourth officials indicating there will be a minimum of 2 minutes. Time at about 2 minutes.
A couple of minutes to end this first half. Somehow this is squeezed through for Bayliss. Clough couldn't get there. Handball, or does it not matter? There looked to be a handball in the box. No one really appealed. Free kick's gone the way of victory. A bit to unpack from that passage of play.
There was a handball, but it was Clough's. He rose, forcing the save in any event from Wachowski, so it wouldn't have stood. Even so, that could not be considered an intentional handball from Clough, but that part of the rule interpretation seems to have gone the way of the dodo.
Well, what a second half this sets us up for. Don't forget halftime. Zappers and the boys to run the rule over that first half of action. What do Victory have to do to keep their noses in front? How do Newcastle find a way to respond? Just a couple of the questions from this opening half of football at Amy Park. An enthralling half of football. The Jets have gone from being 6 points clear on the live ladder, one hand on the Premier's plate, to all of a sudden the ascendancy shifting the way of Auckland if they cannot turn this around. That's how quickly things can shift. Taylor leaves it behind in the challenge. And that should be it for this first half. And will be. Well, the Premier's plate race is on an absolute knife's edge. And this knife is well and truly sharpened. It does not get more tense and tight than this. Charles and Duca turning it all around from a 1-0 deficit. Victory ahead 2-1 at the break against the Jets. And we'll be back right after the break with a halftime show.
They call this the lucky one. But there's a funny thing about luck. There's only so much of it to go wrong. See what will happen. Someone else is having a shot. Yeah, you never know which end you see. Then again, when the lucky country isn't so lucky.
Get ready to cheer, just like Liberty supports the A-Leagues. They're on your team too. Whether you're planning a holiday or buying a new home, they can provide the assist you need to kick your free thinking goals. Liberty, loans for free thinkers. Flares are illegal in our venues. Oh, well, we've been having a look at these amazing boots that Geordie Validon is rocking. It makes the friends actually show design to get this incredible boot with some beautiful features on them as well. So take a close look at these ones. We promise we'll be giving away a pair of these fantastic sneakers here today. This design features our favourite anime character, Geordie Validon. You can see it right there, Gojo Satoru. His initials, his number, incorporated in these personalised boots alongside the cross to represent his faith. It's fantastic to celebrate and member recognition around a very lucky fan who's going to walk away with this pair, which is why standing next to Jason Georgiades from Chicho Design is Andre Recosta. Andre, congratulations to you. You win these beautiful.
When it's Derby Day, everything and anything can happen.
A little bit of extra spice in this one for me today.
Oh, that is a superb strike.
A sizzler.
The Miggy DeFizio can make it 2-1. He does.
Fantastic.
And the Derby has come alive again. Lockie Rose. A Dagger Redmayne saves. The Mariners desperately holding on. They might score here. Nico Duarte.
of a dig, and then great goal from the captain, Michelle Hayman.
Pesky again, this time a little higher, a little longer, but in the back of the net. A lovely set piece.
Now Stevenson looking to bring it over the top, and this is an opportunity here. Amy Medwin goes back to back.
Beautiful goal, and it's the captain, Isabel Hodgson, who gets on the end of it.
We love the enthusiasm of some of these young men who showed out on a Friday night to take in the delightfully exciting A action. The all-Melbourne Hoops and Boys in Blue leading 2 goals to 1. Returning to the pitch any second now. We are loving the energy all around the park. Let's keep it on here. Massive second half to go. As they return to the pitch here at Amy Park, get behind them, Amy Park! Make some noise in here for your boys in blue! Melbourne victory!
Welcome back to Amy Park, where Victory currently lead the Jets 2-1. As it stands, Victory have confirmed finals football, and Auckland will be licking their lips, but there is a long way to go in this one. You'd be brave to bet there won't be more goals in it. There's certainly been tense on the sideline. Arthur Dillis in that first half, getting a pretty stern warning about not yelling at the fourth official, so he'll just need to watch himself in the second half. No changes at this stage. Makota Mizunuma did a pretty strenuous warm-up in the break there, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's injected into the action not too far into the second half.
Welcome back to Amy Park. Second half about to get underway here. Newcastle, well, they have to get going out of the break. Down 2-1. Premier's plate on the line. We're underway in the second half at Amy Park. And Newcastle this season, Andy Harper, have scored the most goals in the 15-minute window out of half-time, 10 in total. Well, they're going to need one tonight if they want to try and pull back a goal on Melbourne Victory.
Well, certainly, and it's our indulgence to be able to project to next week, not so much the players and the coaching staff, but if they can't manage to get that goal in the first 15, and re-energise their hopes, then it's definitely going to be squeaky bum time for the next part of the game, and then the 7 days leading into the Mariners' visit to Newcastle next weekend. Really tense, really excellent first half victory, good value for their lead, but Newcastle have shown that they're not unlikely.
Jelassic, good delivery. He's knuckling around too. Just dropped in front of Lino. And from a Jets perspective, if there's two teams you don't want to leave your fate in the hands of, it's your nearest rival in Auckland FC sitting second on the table, but also your most hated rival in the competition in the Mariners, because the Mariners play Auckland on Sunday and then they play the Jets next week. Mariners fans might want to see their side do the Jets any favours, as Wilmering played in behind the assist king. Has he got another one? Not quite, but he's got a corner for Newcastle.
Well defended in the end. Victory got the numbers around the ball.
Adams, Clough gives this a bit of height. Drops for Natta, just not on the same page as Burgess. Poked in the direction of Rose. As we mentioned in the first half, the Jets wearing black armbands today for Lockie Rose after his grandfather passed away recently. So all our thoughts to Lockie and his family. Jelassic back, and it's Wilmering who's there for the Jets. And here is Lockie Rose. As Taylor alongside him, and Clayton Taylor takes on Davidson and gets him behind Taylor, and he rips it right across the face of goal. Adams was arriving late as well, unmarked.
My goodness, what a chance. It's the strength around the hips of Clayton Taylor. A little bit of a pull on the shirt from Jason Davidson, who was sailing close to the wind on that basis. But not as close as that effort. That near miss from Clayton Taylor. A significant portion of the Hunter Valley just held their breath for that second.
Well, who is it from the Jets? Which one of these young players is going to have ice in their veins in a significant moment? Because if they want to pull this out of the fire, well, one of them is going to have to stand up. Rose closed off, no way through. Valupale bearing down on goal. Nishan Valupale, it was Grozos who blocked with the backside. There's an interested onlooker. Speaking of ice in the veins, he's a man who stepped up countless times for Melbourne victory. And with some famous finals goals. Brisbane Roar, of course, in a past life too. Alicio scrounged away from him, and now Melbourne victory, rolling it into the path of Rawlins. There is no doubt Newcastle are vulnerable from crossing situations. We saw that against MacArthur a couple of weeks ago, and again here tonight. It's proved their undoing. But now Clayton Taylor. Once again, one-on-one, bends to the left and the right. And this time, it's Esposito.
A really good recovery from Victory. Lovely, lovely switch of play from Eli Adams as Clayton Taylor looks to do the switch on Roddy Miranda. Doesn't quite work.
The attempted flick from Taylor. Newcastle trying to hem Victory in here. As we mentioned out of halftime, this is a profitable period of the match for Newcastle. Right after halftime, Burgess, lovely footwork. Was he legged? Not according to Alex King, and no appeals from Burgess. Burgess over the top and just had too much pace for Rose.
Well, it was shaping up as a Valadon type pass. Problem for Newcastle. Max Burgess at the execution was with his less reliable right foot. If that was the other side of the field, you'd have backed Burgess on his left foot to have dropped that ball where it needed to go.
You can see that wind just ruffling Wyshorski's shirt there, so a little bit of a swirling breeze inside Amy Park. We have seen the ball moving around, especially that Eli Adams strike in the first half of the opening goal. It'll be challenging for the goalkeepers, even with the Seagulls as well, flying around, just distracting them in their eye line. Bayless. Oh, and that pass. It looked a good one, didn't it? Towards Taylor, but it was Esposito. That was such a crucial touch. Still with Newcastle and Rose. Clough recycles to Burgess. Bayless and Taylor. Clough just couldn't cushion, but the endeavour from Taylor was excellent. Was there a handball though? There was, even though Rose puts it away.
Well, that's a pity for Newcastle. Taylor did well to earn the opportunity here. Just couldn't read the spin off the bounce. Straight to a call for referee Alex King.
Well, we heard from Tim Morgan at half-time that Porta Mizunuma was running through some warm-ups at half-time. And you can just see, now this looks like Burton Cello, so Mizunuma is he's down warming up at the far end, but looks as though that's Xavier Burton Cello just getting some instructions here off Jess Van Stratton. Could well be forced into another change here if Nasser's not okay. To be a hand issue, so I think he'll be right. So this is early for Mark Milligan. Usually waits a little bit longer for these kind of changes, but he's pushing the Burton Cello button. A lucky charm, you'd say, off the bench this season. He scored 7 goals, 4 off the bench. Just 3 behind the A-League record of most goals for a substitute in a season. Held by Pablo Sanchez, Adrian Segacic and Enrique. Who will it be that is withdrawn them? Will it be Adams, will it be Taylor, or someone else? Maybe Clough. That would be a real attacking move. His first start, so you think he'll be a player that may not see out the full 90 this evening. Natta, let's try to keep the movement flowing. And now Nduka. And Krozos had to make that tackle. In the end, no. Jelassic bearing down on goal. Keegan Jelassic, and it's Grozos again. Two crucial moments from the Jets captain.
Oh, very important. Newcastle were exposed then, pushing forward and the tight line passing didn't stick. This is the second intervention from the skipper, Grozos. Both needed. This is the latter of the two. Forced the corner.
Victory. Moving it quickly. They don't want to waste a moment either. Jean Rowe drills it across into Adams. On. And Jelassic. If that was a little closer to Valupale, there would have been some big problems for Newcastle.
Substitution taken by the Newcastle Jets, replacing number 10, Zach Koch. Is number 43, Xavier Burton-Cello.
So, Burton-Cello comes into the game. He moves into midfield. You would think probably Eli Adams. Burton-Cello is going to go wide right. That is the conversation you may well have seen. So F3 Derby next Saturday. Huge in the Premier's Plate race if Newcastle can't get a result tonight. And the Mariners, wouldn't they love to spoil the Jets' Premiership party? Jelassic. Oh, a stumble from Bayless. Jelassic gets another shot, and Delianov may have saved the Jets in the 58th minute. It doesn't get much bigger than that.
Well, Bayless just overcommitting. Jelassic doing really well and putting the ball in nicely. Valupale met it perfectly, you'd have thought. And Delianov, acrobatic. Super stuff from the Jets goalkeeper there. Alex King laying down the law. No manhandling, please.
Well, and Duca v Wilmering, and Duca will be appreciating that little head-to-head battle. If that is the way it's structured here, look at that. A bit of a height advantage. Victory, though, not first time. They work out for them. Valadon. Oh, Burgess straight into his hand. Play on here for Victory, and Davidson. Now Alex King will call play to a halt. Now, concussion has been a very strong talking point over the last few weeks, and Burgess gets straight back to his feet.
Well, he wore that full on. Just not sure if it actually hit his head or just upper chest. Let's see. Now it's a straight back up. Clear-eyed. Furrowed brow. Play on.
Well, the odds stacked against Newcastle here. Down 2-1. Just over half an hour to go. It's not often you see this kind of scoreline overturned from this kind of position. You look at the majority of matches in the A-League. So they're going to have to do something out of the ordinary here tonight that may become more of a mountain to climb. Oh, very nearly an own goal for Natta. Hearts are in mouths in the far corner of Amy Park.
He's a pretty cool customer, Mark Natta. And he needed to call on all those reserves here. Hit him halfway up the pad. It actually could have flown off at an angle, but he steered it where he needed it to go and intended it to go. Just stretched at the moment. Newcastle had a bright start to the second stanza. Melbourne Victory looking to turn the screws. Leonov with an excellent save to deny Valupale. 2 or 3 waves of subsequent attacks from the home team.
Well, they are teetering at the moment. Newcastle victory searching for the knockout blow. Newcastle counter thrust. Taylor could and probably should have made it 2-2 in the early stages of this second half. Now it's Victory's momentum. Wilmering sees the run of Taylor. Esposito, hasn't he had a game tonight?
Unusual hesitation there in possession from Daniel Wilmering. He's had a great season. He had a couple of opportunities to release the ball forward into space and just second-guessed it. Maybe that's a sign of the stress and pressure that's building. This Newcastle team that's striving to win its first league, its first Premier's plate. I think, off the top of my head, Benny, if a team that's the youngest in a competition has won the Premier's plate.
Andy Howe, go to work.
You listening?
Come in, Andy.
He'll do that one on his ear.
I would highly doubt it. I would highly doubt it. And that's the challenge for these Jets players. In these big moments against teams with players with international quality. Valupale, Valadon, Shonro, and the deflection. Valadon cleared off the line by Grozos. They are hanging on.
And that's three really key interventions from Captain Grozos. This was a fortunate one in the way it fell for Melbourne Victory, and Newcastle held their nerve again, but they're stretched. The Jets are stretched. Can they find some open field?
This should be a for Newcastle momentary reprieve, but Victory know they have to go for it. Adams, Wilmering. Adams, well, not the pass he was after. Look at that shot to goal. Well, that's a gift. Rose, the deflection. It's going to be a corner here, or will it? Flags up for offside.
Oh, nice work from Joel Bertolicia to nick in and pinch the ball. Very quickly thereafter. Time to readjust. Lockie Rose, clearly offside.
Replacing number 23, Keegan Jelassic. Here's number 14, Matthew Grimaldi.
Let's head down to the sideline with Tim Morgan.
Yeah, just Victory making their change now. So Matt Grimaldi coming on for Keegan Jelassic. Just as the weather starts to make a turn, it's been getting colder and colder and windier, and now to add in the fun, we have the rain. So it's certainly deteriorating conditions here at Amy Park as we head towards the business end of this game.
Tim, which side is the wind favouring in this second half?
It's blowing to the left-hand side of your screen, so the way Newcastle are going right now. Interesting.
Thank you, Tim. Oh, Taylor, down he goes. Looked like a whole lot in it. Polite inquiry, maybe. Just second football booted off the field. So you sense with that breeze by Newcastle, Eli Adams may think about maybe a strike from distance if he gets some space and a look at it. Playing more centrally now. Cello. Bayliss. Adams kept it rolling. Wilmering on the tarmac. Taylor, the delivery, dangerous, and took a couple of deflections on the way through and ended up deceiving Bertoncello. In the end, it's a Melbourne victory throw.
Shoulder to shoulder. That's a reasonable call from the ref. Just needed to be that little bit stronger, maybe a little bit more aware. And teaming down now, not putting off the Seagulls. You can sense a spare chip or two around the place.
Miranda smartly goes to ground. Well, they're singing in the rain at the moment, the Melbourne Victory fans. This would take them a huge step closer to securing a home final. We know what an advantage that will be as they look to overturn that devastation of last year where they went down in the grand final to Melbourne City. Well, those Jets fans, they've suffered heartbreak at the hands of Melbourne Victory before in that 2018 grand final. Is it going to be again the case tonight?
Well, for Victory, I mean, the loss, as we referred to, puts them a bit on the precipice as far as a top 6 place is concerned, but a win has them nipping at the heels of Auckland. The win puts Victory on 39 points, just 2 behind Auckland in second, with Auckland with their game to play, of course.
So a top 2 spot not out of the equation for Victory. If Auckland do slip up. Taylor. Again, shifting left and right. This time he does earn the free kick right on the edge of the area.
Now that's a good bit of work from Clayton Taylor. He's come up short the last couple of times, had that excellent effort, but this is he at his best when he can manage the ball close in, but defenders just bounce off him or foul him. Invariably finds his way through, and that was a better sequence from Clayton Taylor. Handily placed free kick, this one for Newcastle.
Newcastle have scored the second most goals from set pieces this season. 6 from free kicks, 4 from corners and a penalty. So this is their sweet spot. A free kick, which is being stood over by Bayliss and Adams. Go for technique or power. It's low and hard. It's a dangerous one. It's a corner for Newcastle. Just screaming out, marshalling his defenders. What a return to the starting side for him after missing last week with concussion. It's a sign from Adams. This is the plan. And Bayliss, the deflection is into the hands of Pushawski. Well, it was a decent move from the Jets from the corner. Very nearly came up trumps. Cello versus Davidson. Now, which way does this go? Just going to be a goal kick.
Substitution taken by the Newcastle Jets, replacing number 9, Lachlan Rose. Is number 11, Benjamin Gibson.
So, a tough night for Lockie Rose. And Gibson comes into the game. Scored that crucial goal against Sydney back in March to win them all 3 points. Grimaldi. Burgess. Victory players swarming around and Brozos has to dive and slide in. Victory fans up and about, but Alex King saw nothing untoward. Adam He's just lost his footing and finds his coach.
Well, you take a risk when you leave. You leave the ground. Costa Grozos, did he get enough of the ball before anything else happened? No touch. Well, Alex King made his thoughts very clear, extremely animated as he waved that one away. A sign that Alex King's going to be brought to heel. Nothing to see there.
Grimaldi allowed space to drive and allowed space to have a hit. Well, the invitation was left dangling in front of him. And he said, well, it'd be rude to turn it down.
It's a good right. This a good whack, and this one's wobbled around as well. Had it covered, you'd fancy. Inside a goal from Grimaldi.
Newcastle playing with a little bit of fire here, but that's the way they go about things. Natta and Taylor closed off by Miranda. Space over to that right, but it just didn't get there. Off the boot of Burgess. John Rowe. And this is Rawlins for Lupale. Grimaldi, another early ball, and he very nearly had a hat-trick. Charles Nduka. That would have all but settled it.
Well, he should have had his hat-trick. Picked their way through nicely. Melbourne victory. Look how high they're deploying their first line of defence. And they've forced a lot of errors from Newcastle. There's another changeover and victory comes straight at them. They've succeeded in playing a lot of the game in Newcastle's half.
"17 minutes to go, Harps. What is Newcastle's avenue? If you're Mark Milligan, how are you trying to pull this one out of the fire? What's the instruction?"
Well, I can't imagine there's anything different coming from the technical area other than let's do what we have done all year, but just do it a little bit better. We know quantum shifts in the ideas and the attitude. It's keep the ball moving, keep the movement happening, and they will believe they can break through. They just need that quality in the final third. They've shown plenty of it this season and on occasions tonight as well. Perhaps not quite as incisive this evening.
When the pressure is at its highest moment, can you deliver? That is the question. The Newcastle Jets have sitting in front of them, and they still have 16 minutes plus stoppage time to answer. Adams slipped at a key moment, and that allowed the moment for victory to win it back. And off they go. Newcastle have to come at them. There'll be space in behind, and there is here for Rawlins, Grimaldi and Lupale. Used power when he needed placement. Look at that. Victory's domination of the shots at goal, and Gibson, down he goes. Alex King again not interested. Bertoncello, he's got some space here to work in Xavier. The X Factor off the bench. He bears down on goal. He cuts it back, and Wachowski has to smother it at the near post. Made something happen out of nothing there. Did Bertoncello. So into the final 15. And there's no side in the competition that scored more goals than the Jets. Total. But this has been their most profitable period. 12 times they've scored in the last 15. And very nearly right on cue they did find that goal. This is what they pride themselves on, the Jets, wearing opposition sides down. Keeping the ball in play, keeping the ball moving. It worked for them last week. And this is a free kick in a very dangerous area.
Well, I wonder if Eli Adams might fancy this one. Direct on goal. It's a beautiful move. It's really brave from Ben Gibson to get in between those defenders. Eyes on the ball, lost his balance. Couldn't have been 100% sure that the goalkeeper wasn't going to arrive at the same time and clean him up. And Mashorski did excellently as well to block what looked for all money like it was going to be an equaliser. Lovely play from the Jets. Good escape from Victory. Now they have to see this one away. Adams over the ball. Looks like he fancies it. Is it too far out? Unfriendly angle.
With a breeze behind him as well. This is a big, big moment for Eli Adams. Pressure at its highest point. He strikes the wall. Did its job for Melbourne Victory. Adams curling it towards Natta, bobbling in the box. Victory couldn't get it away the first time. Did the second, but only as far as Adams. Wilmering and Taylor. Decisive pass into Bayliss. Can't find the angle though. Taylor trying to slip it through for Bayliss. Seen to his keeper by Esposito.
Great. Expected levels of concentration from the Victory defenders as a group. None of them have clocked off in those moments this evening. The Jets have profited from lapses in concentration. Lucky Bayliss asks, no, that's not a foul. He might have a case.
Looks as though Melbourne Victory are going to go to their bench as well. Adams just dallied. And here go Victory. Rawlins making a lung-busting run down the right. So on that occasion for Nduka. Wilmering and Taylor trying to squeeze his way between two Victory players and to get the whistle in the end. So into the final 10 minutes we go. Berncello, another strong delivery, and it's Taylor at the back post. Gibson missed it on the first occasion, and then Taylor couldn't keep it down on the second.
Well, he works that line well, Ben Gibson. He got on the end. The last entry, he couldn't get on the end of that. And then Clayton Taylor couldn't find the necessary technique.
And
Lovely
replacing
ball
number
from
17
Burton
is Sean Malugla. Is number 11.
So Alex
Santos.
Nunes, who's played just 51 minutes across 7 matches this season, he's thrust into this pressure cooker environment. Lupale instructed to get a wriggle on, and it will be Santos, the Brazilian. He scored 5 times for Melbourne victory this season. No goal threat. An experienced head out there, and Valadon replaced by Dorigo, a like-for-like switch in the middle of the park. Cello a little more centrally. Wilmering. So it would seem maybe Eli Adams actually has shifted a little wider. Nunes coming into that midfield. Ellis as well. Ling is run in from that left edge. It for Bertolicio. Wilmering. Nunes. Litchfield Jr. just near Darwin. You can see that possession storyline in the second half. Newcastle chasing the game. They've had more of it, but victory still. More chances, more shots on goal. The pass from Bayless just behind Nunes. Just desperate to win it back. So too Bertoncello. With victory, managed to wriggle it wide. And the fresh leg to Santos. So it was 2 goals in 3 minutes for Melbourne victory, which turned this all around. Just after the 30-minute mark, after they were down 1-0, Eli Adams putting Newcastle in front. In the 19th minute. They were 6 points clear of Auckland on the live ladder in that moment. The Jets. And Duca for his hat-trick. And Delianov. He wasn't to know the flag would come up.
Didn't have a whole pile of conviction that from Ndruka. Maybe he suspected he was going to be offside. Good save as it was. Goes in. The Lions might have had a say on that one. James Delianov. It's definitely goal bound.
He's kept Newcastle afloat in their second half. Delianov, massive saves around the hour mark, and again there. It's a tough watch for the Jets fans. Last week they pulled it out of the fire against Adelaide. Wilmering deep into stoppage time. Is there a similar kind of route this week? Romaldi towards the middle. Natta hooks it up in the direction of Adams. Melbourne victory know how focused they've got to keep themselves defensively. It's Newcastle side picked the best defences in this competition this season. And they have frustrated them again there into a poor pass. Moves it into the path of Wilmering. Adams was keen to make that run down the left. Instead, Wilmering opted centrally. Bayliss moves it to Adams now. Now it's Bayliss. Down he goes. And Alex King points straight to the penalty spot. And so they have unpicked them. They finally found an opening in Esposito. He's blotted his copybook.
Well, Lockie Bayliss has had a really strong game, and that's just a moment of brilliance there, just to let the ball roll across the line, and the defender completely outplayed. Super work from the other Northern Territorian to win the penalty. Now Ben Gibson looking to step up, asking for final permission.
Well, this is massive. Newcastle, are they not sure who's going to take the penalty? Is that the question? Who is it? It's Eli Adams, who scored in the first half. This is as big as it gets outside of a penalty shootout. This is as much pressure on a spot kick as you can ask for.
Does the referee need to let Roddy Miranda stand there?
He can't watch Mark Milligan. Eli Adams, so cool and collected over the dead ball. But this is a different situation. Adams scores. He does have ice in his veins, this young man. Oh, yes, he does.
And they believe again, the Jets fans. Terrific number of them headed south for this key match. And a key play on the Harvey Norman replay from Lockie Bayliss. One of the best on the field tonight. And Eli Adams from the spot helps himself to a second. His brace completed straight down the middle to level things up in Melbourne. A pulsating match. The Jets fans on fire again as we enter stoppage time. Will there be a late surprise, one way or the other?
Never a career hat-trick for Eli Adams. One tonight could well win it for Newcastle. And once again, Newcastle find a goal in the final 15 minutes of a match this season for the 13th time. Unlucky for some, maybe not so for Newcastle tonight. Is there another one where that came from? The pass out in front of Nunes, Burton-Cello. And Bayliss, will find out how much stoppage time. That's a poor pass from Bayliss, but Newcastle will win it back through Natta. How much? We asked Jonathan Barrera. There will be 5 minutes for either of these two sides to win it. Adams. Here's a free kick for the Jets. Right against the sideline. Card comes out for Rawlins, and hasn't the momentum shifted here in Melbourne?
Well, it was looking perhaps a little too difficult for Newcastle. Victory had the lead and pretty much, in not a clear-cut observation, but had good control of the game. And the penalty and successful conversion has certainly swung things back Newcastle's way. Can they get over the line, the Jets? And just get that one step closer to winning the league.
Even the Seagulls want to get involved. Bayless, Nunes, and Victory do just enough. This is crazy stuff. Look at the Seagulls. Wilmering, it's like a day out on Newcastle Harbour.
Well, Ben, with respect, Melbourne people go to Newcastle Harbour and say this is a night out at Amy Park.
Here's Bayless. Asking for the run of Gibson. Close control against the byline. Wilmering. Bayless hooks it up just above Burtoncello. Gibson. Nunes. And Adams. And just not on the same wavelength there as Wilmering.
It's a big relief for Melbourne Victory because the Jets were sitting there nicely. The touch was in. They just felt like they were back in sync, and a loose pass from Eli Adams relieves the pressure. Doesn't relieve the sense of hope, which is bubbling up again for the Newcastle Jets fans.
Oh, little slip. Gibson. He has Burtoncello. Burtoncello off the post. Off the crossbar. Can you believe what you are witnessing?
Well, Esposito's had a good game, but he stumbled for the penalty. He stumbled for what really should have been the winner. From the excellent Xavier Burtoncello. What a moment for Newcastle. What a moment for Newcastle. Can they eke out another one in the time that's left?
The pessimist would say the chance is gone. But the eternal optimist will believe they've created more than enough in the last few minutes that another will happen in the next 2 minutes. So what will it be here from the Jets? Nunes and Bayless. Nata wins it back. Nunes, that should be a throw for the Jets. Was it touched by Victory? No, it wasn't.
Oh, well, either way, it's been a terrific game. Victory had their hands on the 3 points. Delyanov stopped the blowout, kept Newcastle in the game. Wachowski, a good save off Ben Gibson. And as the game has reached its conclusion, it's the Jets who are looking more likely. Will they have enough time?
Well, time is of the essence, and we're into the final minutes of stoppage time. And what about the performance of this man with the ball in his hands? Delyanov. Huge saves around the hour mark. A huge save about 10 minutes ago. It could have been 3-1. It could have been 4-1 to Melbourne Victory. And when the Jets were wobbling, he held them up and gave them the chance to find the equaliser. Probably the final shift here. And it's Rawlins clearing it over the sideline. Milligan wants to search for the ball. It's thrown back into the field by a Victory fan. Alex King has the whistle to his mouth. And what a dramatic draw that is here at Amy Park. Newcastle pulling a point out of the fire. It could have been more. Eli Adams scored first for Mark Milligan's team. Charles Nduka scored 2 in 3 minutes before an Eli Adams penalty in the final minutes. In short, it's Newcastle who sit 4 points clear of Auckland. Auckland with 2 matches to play. it is still in the hands of the Newcastle Jets. They beat the Mariners next week, and they will claim the Premier's plate for the first time in club history. Full time in Melbourne. Melbourne victory 2. Newcastle Jets 2.
Please take care and be patient as you leave the stadium this evening, folks. You do not have to leave your seats straight away. There may be some delays on the external concourses and staircases. Immediately after matches, everyone departs. Please be aware of this. Your patience and cooperation is appreciated. And don't forget, our women's team are in the finals. We'll take on Canberra United in the away elimination final on Saturday, April 25th. So next Saturday at 2 p.m. on Anzac Day, you can catch the match on 10 Drama and Paramount Plus. Support our girls simply. And you don't want to miss this one, folks. Before you leave tonight, head along to our post-match signing session with great chance to get a photo and signature from some of your favourite players taking place in the Olympic Park room. You can access the rooms via the lifts outside gate 2 or the staircases at aisle 4. Please note during this event the players will be unable to stay out on the pitch as they get ready for the signing session. We will see you there.
Yeah, Nish and Blue players with me. Nish, was incredibly entertaining as an onlooker, but how do you assess the performance?
Yeah, I think for most parts of the game, I think we were pretty good. You know, like we executed what we wanted to execute. You know, we knew they're a good footballing team and they like to play very quickly, and you got to kind of stop them from getting that momentum.